Okay, welcome back, YouTube followers. This is a 5.7 I threw together. It's all old parts except for a new water pump. It's got a new oil pump in there. New Meladon oil pan. But everything else, the heads, I peened all around the valve seats with a punch, at least 6 peens all the way around to keep it tight. Got it hooked up to my 6.1 PCM that I had running that engine, but that engine's on the stand. So this engine is just on wood. You can see that. Looks like 2x12s, a couple 2x6s, and a rolling cart. But got the exhaust all hooked up. It's gonna be going in this pace car. Sold all the small block stuff because this was just a 318, and that motor is gonna go in there. So it's just a regular 5.7 early model, like a 2004 to 2000. They used them the same engines in the trucks, like 2004, 2005. Then they started putting them in cars. This one has a car intake on it, a car timing cover on it, car exhaust manifolds. I think they came out of a Charger, which are the same ones I have in my black Cuda over there with a 5.7. So these just barely clear everything in there. And on the driver's side, had to, with a stock steering box, I had to grind some of this off in here. This is a Borgeson box. But on the other manifolds, to match the steering box, it's in the other car, but I had to grind off some of the rib and smash some of this in just so it wouldn't touch the steering box. But this is a factory car exhaust manifold from like an 06 to 08 Charger. Okay, so gonna fire this up. I don't have a radiator on it until I get it in the car, but I just threw it all together. This is just regular Rust-Oleum orange paint from Walmart. This I think was Husqvarna orange paint, but this is just a regular Rust-Oleum urethane orange. You can get it at Walmart, which actually looks pretty good. It's kind of shinier, kind of matches the car, because that's Hugger orange on that car. It's not HEMI orange, so it almost matches. So let's hook this guy up. Let's see if this thing runs. I'm only gonna run it for a few minutes because just threw it together with all the old parts, old timing chain. The engine probably had less than 100,000 miles on it. It was pretty clean inside. But threw a couple pistons in it. This is the engine I hurt in the Cuda because it ran lean, because the fuel filter was totally plugged full of rust. My input pre-filter before the pump ran lean when I jumped on it up in Iowa. Broke 3 piston lands, or ring lands on 3 pistons. So I just threw 3 other pistons in it and peened the valve guides, valve seals, or the valve seats. I peened around on the aluminum head to keep them tight, tighten up the aluminum, and it's gonna go in there. So like I did before, this was so I could check all the signals when I turned it on. But this turns it on. You can hear the pump prime. The only reason I have this one close to that is because right now I'm using the fuel pump and my fuel tank and the return line. Fuel pump's down there, like I've showed in my other videos. It goes to this regulator, and then the line goes to feed the rails. It feeds this one, it goes over and feeds that one. I cleaned all the injectors out like I did in my other video, just pressurizing the the lines and then using a battery and a switch, which was this deal. You'll see it in my other videos. All it is a battery, a switch, a fuse, or a circuit breaker in that case, and a plug that I trimmed down that plugs into the injectors, so I can plug them in, hit the switch, and the injector fires. One thing about the clips, the 6.1 had some better stainless clips than this fuel rail. This fuel rail had these clips on there that were kind of rusty and soft. I don't know if you can see the rust on this one here. But when I was injecting and hitting the switch and pressurizing the pump with about 50 psi, the injectors were blowing off because of that the cheap clip. So the 6.1 had better clips. They looked like stainless and they were harder. And I put them on here and none of the injectors shot out with the pressure. So these clips on the 6.1 are a lot better than the clips on a regular 5.7. So you might want to do that, but it's probably not going to go anywhere. The other fuel rails I use don't even have clips, but these are the factory ones, and they stay bolted down anyway, so that this shouldn't even pull off. I'm just letting you know. The other clips failed on me when I was pressurizing. Okay, so I'm just gonna start this up for a few minutes to make sure it runs, all my timing's set correctly. Like I showed in my other video, this is my run wire. It tells the PCM that I'm in start mode. Without this wire being hooked up to 12 volts or a start switch, the engine will not fire, okay? So I'm just gonna temporarily hook it to my hot wire on my ignition switch, and then this is my starter wire here. Let me see if I can do this and not have to put my phone down. So I can put this down here. All right, let's see what happens here. I don't know if you can see that. So this is my start wire. Come on. All right, don't have my tripod with me right now, so what I'm gonna do, put this down for a minute. This goes to my starter. I'm gonna touch it to that. It's gonna energize the starter and crank it, but I also have to hold this to my hot wire on this ignition switch I'm using. So let me put you down. See if I can do this so you can see something. All right, let's see if that works. So, as you can see, this is start, and this is my PCM start. Hit that. Seconds because there's no cooling system hooked up. There's no antifreeze in it, no radiator, because all this is going in the Challenger. So this was a deal on eBay. You can get your fans, your shroud, your radiator. I think it's $259 just on eBay. It's just an aluminum radiator and has, I think, a 5-year warranty on it, maybe longer. Right, so this is just a quickie update. This engine is going in that car. before I lose convertible driving weather, which only lasts a couple weeks because it started to get cold here already. All right, so this is going on the channel, and thanks for watching. This is a quick update.